Joining me, Mr. Sharad Ved, MD of Utkal Builders. जो youngsters हैं, the Gen Zs that we are saying, believe in these things कि we should not buy a home, we should go for renting a home.
If you rent an apartment, you're actually paying someone else's mortgage. I mean, it's always makes sense to buy a home because real estate is an asset class which will always appreciate.
Company like Utkal Builders, who has trusted by so many people. I want to know what is that core principle that you have, जो यहाँ पे click कर गया.
We are a family business which started with a principle of delivering on what we promise consistently. Because we have been very rooted to our commitments, we don't overpromise, and we've delivered many iconic projects. We make sure that whatever we show or whatever we promise in our marketing material, we deliver. In fact, we deliver more than what we promise.
अच्छा, one trend in real estate that you secretly can't stand
would be taxation. It's too much of taxation. 50% of the price that customers pay actually goes towards taxation. It's that high.
and लोगों को लगता है कि दोनों we are paying to the builders.
Gentleman came with a jewelry and some money that he paid for a flat. My father asked कि ये क्या है? तो सुभाष भैया बोले कि whatever means he had, he has entrusted us to deliver a dream home for him. So it is our responsibility not to deliver home, but live up to the trust that he has bestowed on us. And we feel very proud to deliver on it time and again.
When you came to Bhubaneswar, you saw that kind of buildings, that kind of infrastructure that we were lacking. And now when you see Bhubaneswar, it's been almost 20-25 years since the time you came to Bhubaneswar back. How are you seeing right now? Is Bhubaneswar going ahead?
Oh yeah,
Bhubaneswar
is growing at a tremendous pace. I think more at a faster rate than any other city in India, I think. And there's so much of potential, there's so much of growth left as well. So Bhubaneswar is definitely a growth story in times to come.
Hi guys, welcome to OD Podcast once again. This is Som and we are on another episode. और आज हमारे साथ एक खास मेहमान है. And why I'm saying khas, because he's already khas. You know that we have done interviews with political figures, with film stars. But today is something special. क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि आज के इस एपिसोड में there are so many things जो शायद मैं एज ए टेक अवे यहाँ से लेके जाऊँगा. बहुत सारी चीज़ें जो मुझे जाननी है. एंड आई एम श्योर एज अ व्यूअर यू ऑल्सो वांट टू नो ए लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. एंड आई एम श्योर आपको इस एपिसोड में वो सारी चीज़ें मिलने वाली है. Joining me, Mr. Sharad Ved. Thank you so much, sir. MD of Utkal Builders. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Sharad, first thing I want to know before you start the entire episode, I just share a small incident. क्या होता है usually? When I started working, जब हमने काम शुरू किया, we always dreamed about being a middle class boy or someone. We always dreamed about कि खुद का एक घर हो. And every time I think कि नहीं ये सर right moment है to take a home. Instagram reel pop up on my screen जो कहता है 5 reasons why you should not buy a home.
I should not buy a home. What are 5 reasons?
I mean, there's so many reels and so many videos we see. There are the 5 reasons you should rent a home, you should buy a home. So I think after this episode, I am going to actually know whether I should buy a home or not from you.
Right.
So having said that,
from me or from whoever, but you must buy a home if you want to.
Definitely. So sir, tell me before we start about speaking about the real estate and all the things. Right now, I am sitting with someone who has spent almost over 2 decades, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, 20 years.
20 years.
It's been, yeah.
Yes, 20 years in the real estate. So you know every in and out about the real estate. How does it work? Why does it work? कैसे होता है? क्या होता है? What the people should do? What they should not do? I want to know from you because this is a business. लोग देखते हैं it is a business of money making business where big money is involved and everything is there. I want to know from you what drew you to the real estate market, being in the industry for 20 years.
Well, what drew me to real estate I've never thought about it in particular, but let me take you back in 1999 or 2000 when I was 20 years old. I was living in a bustling city of Kolkata, and as you know how Kolkata is, too much of traffic, old buildings, very congested, so much of sound pollution. So I did my graduation there, and after graduation, like everybody else, I wanted to do something more. So I joined the herd and I did my MBA. Unfortunately, I was able to do my MBA in Australia. So the moment I landed in Australia, I was mesmerized with the kind of development they have over there. And I'm talking about the year 1998, 99, when, the airport, the public transport, the entire public infrastructure, even the malls I remember going to a 12-screen multiplex back then. And, they had used to have large departmental store called Coles and Myers. And it was like a complete 180-degree shift for me from what I'd seen in India. In India, I think back then they didn't have Pantaloons also. I think Pantaloons was just opening their first store in 1998 or 99. and we didn't have the concept of organized retail back then. So I saw a different world altogether. So after I finished my masters, when I came back home in 2000, I was really I did not know what to do. But I guess God had His own plan. So we had a family business of real estate in Odisha, which was founded by my father and his nephew, my cousin brother, Mr. Subhash Jibura, who founded the company with my father. So I came to Bhubaneswar, and when I came here, I saw that there is so much of potential in this city and state. And, back then we didn't have any malls or multiplexes or even large format stores also. So then I saw there's a lot of, and then I had that fire in me because I've seen so much in the world and I wanted to do something more. So I felt I'm at the right place at the right time. And I thought I should do this. And fortunately, it has been a great journey. The government was stable. The IT boom was happening at that time. And there was a lot of requirement for infrastructure development, although Bhubaneswar had not seen it. So I saw that this is a place where I think that we could do a lot of good work. In fact, my first project was Pantaloons that we, I think, launched or started construction in 2004, 20 years back. And we did a standalone retail store, built to suit kind of a development for the Future Group, where we imported the first set of escalators from China. And I think that time the city had never seen a set of escalator in private building. So that's how we started, and rest is history.
Cool. So you spoke about the Pantaloons. So when Pantaloons started in Odisha, I think that is the first project of Pantaloon in Odisha, and that's been done by
the Pantaloons on Janpath.
Pantaloons
on Manivihar. That was my first project.
Cool. So Sharad, tell me, you mentioned about when you came to Bhubaneswar, you saw that, that kind of buildings, that kind of infrastructure that we were lacking. And now when you see Bhubaneswar, it's been almost 20-25 years since the time you came to Bhubaneswar back. How are you seeing right now? Is Bhubaneswar going ahead?
Bhubaneswar is growing at a tremendous pace. I think more at a faster rate than any other city in India, I think. And there's so much of potential. There's so much of growth left as well. So Bhubaneswar is definitely a growth story in times to come. And in the last 20 years, I mean, from what I've seen when I came here until now, there has been a significant growth in the infrastructure and in the building infrastructure as well. And fortunately, I could proudly say that we have been we have played an important role in that development.
Super. So sir, tell me, when we talk about real estate, especially, be it any business, I believe कि हमारे जो core values होते हैं, वो कहीं ना कहीं पे हमें drive करते हैं, हमारे decision making में drive करते हैं, हमारे leadership में हमें drive करते हैं. Now, when we speak about real estate, I want to know what values are fundamental to you and how do they influence your daily life, your daily work? Because, real estate is a big thing. So how do they influence you?
So, I'm fortunate to be born in a traditional Jain business family. And my father has been a very hardworking person. I've always seen him from my childhood. He's my role model. And he set a rule that, you do your school and come to office. And I used to go to office when I was 14 years old. And that's where I saw my father operating from a small 14 by 14 room. And it was used to call gaddi. So there used to be a gaddi and a telephone. And the traders would come, millers would come, brokers would come, financiers would come, and he would deal with all of them. What I noticed was that my father was a man of his words, and whatever he would commit, he would deliver, no matter what. Mm-hmm. I think what I saw there got inculcated in my belief system, in my consciousness. And I also saw that he used to take a lot of risk as well. As a trader now, what happens is that you supply to various mills all across India. And you don't know about them also, but then we used to load 5, 7, 8, 10 trucks for them on credit. So I also absorbed a lot of risk-taking ability that he had. And I think that got inculcated in me and it became my belief system. And I think it got inculcated in our corporate belief system as well. So you commit something, you have to deliver.
Super.
And that became our core value.
Super. So sir, tell me, when we talk about real estate, मैंने देखा है कहीं ना कहीं पे, buying home is something जो लोगों के दिल के बहुत करीब होता है. hard-earned money of their entire life saving they put into buy home, 70 lakh, 80 lakh, or whatever the price is.
Yeah.
तो कहीं ना कहीं पे एक ट्रस्ट बिल्ड करना भी डिफिकल्ट होता है. People usually don't go to any random place or anywhere कि घर कितना है they would buy.
Right.
They always prefer to buy from somewhere जहाँ पे they know that okay, this is a brand. This brand has done these kind of works and they have delivered these kind of works in infrastructure. They're building something.
Right.
People always prefer that. Now, when we talk about your company, Utkal Builders, it has a reputation of not just constructing buildings, but I would say building trust as well.
Right.
Because we are not into any one particular project or something. There are so many projects, commercial, residential, and everything we are saying is just perfect. Perfect on time, perfectly delivered, and people are so happy about it. So I want to know how you earn and retain this kind of reputation in a field like real estate.
Well, so 34 years it has been since Utkal was formed. I don't know, we never thought how we built trust over the last 3.5 decades, because we were really busy and committed to perfecting our craft, which is to build. But see, trust is the core of any long-lasting relationship, and especially when someone buys a home, and that is one of the most important decisions of his life. So trust is extremely important. Now, the core value that I talked about, and which is whatever we commit, we would deliver, and we will be very authentic and honest about what we do. So those core values kind of led the investors trust, led the customers trust in us over a period of time, because we created value for them. I mean, people who have been associated with us, the customers who bought from us, they have kind of over a period of time have gained tremendous value from the product that we have made. So the trust is born, trust is made like that. And then when over a period of this 34 years journey, when we see that people started trusting us, then when you have to retain that trust, it kind of pushes you also to do better. So we try to do our best. I travel a lot. I try to see what is there in the developing economies. I always feel that, any developing economy will always follow the developed economies. So we benchmark ourselves with the best in the world. And that's the kind of product we got here. Quality has been in our DNA. I can proudly say that, and you can ask any Utkal employees, quality has been in our DNA. So from selecting any location to any consultants, most of our consultants are based out of all across India, but they're very fine consultants. Be it choosing the consultants or be it choosing the products, there's no compromise attitude. So with that, when we've been delivering successfully over a period of 3 decades, trust is automatically built. So trust is built when promises are kept. And I think at Utkal, we have been doing it and will continue to do so.
Super. That glow in your face when you speak about trust and how you deliver. I want to know how happy do you feel and how proud do you feel when you go out and when you hear these stories from people कि नहीं, Utkal Builders is something, we are making something, we made something कि लोगों को इतना पसंद आया है, they trust us, and now we are going to make another project or maybe another project, and this is a continuous process. So how happy do you feel जब आपको लगता है कि ये हमने कर दिया है, this is what we have done?
We कर भी दिया है और करना भी है. ऐसा नहीं है कि the journey has stopped. See, I'll tell you a story, very interesting question it is. There was a time when my father told me this. Subhash Bhai and Papa they were sitting, and then this gentleman came in. It was before I joined business. He came with jewelry and some money that he paid for a flat. So my father asked कि ये क्या है? तो सुभाष भैया बोले कि he has whatever means he has entrusted us to deliver a dream home for him. So it is our responsibility not to deliver home, but to live up to the trust that he has bestowed on us. So people actually trust us, and we feel very extremely proud about that people express and have that trust on us, and we feel very proud to deliver on it time and again.
Exactly. I would say that you are delivering their dream because, it's a lifelong dream to have a house, and when that got completed, super. So, tell me, when you talk about real estate, बहुत से जगहों पे हम लोग आजकल देखते हैं, like you mentioned कि पहले नहीं था, बट अभी हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि सो मेनी प्लेयर्स इन द गेम. एंड एवरी टाइम आई गो थ्रू द रोड एंड होर्डिंग्स हम लोग देखते हैं किसी रियल एस्टेट कंपनी का, with the tags like luxury apartment, super luxury apartment, ultra luxury apartment. But more or less, it is the same thing that happens. When we talk about Utkar Builders, I feel that you have actually cracked the code to become a market disruptor. Kahin na kahin pe. You were delivering something. I was going through all the projects and all, and I saw that from smart homes to first ever offerings to luxury amenities, multi-asset class, so many things that you are introducing to the market, and that's how you are. You are having an upper hand in this game. So I want to know from you कि इतने सारे bold moves in an industry like real estate, how do you do that in the emerging market like Bhubaneswar? क्योंकि यहाँ पे कहा जाता है कि लोगों के जो choices है, those are not concrete choices. Those are evolving in the tier 3 cities. So how do you do that?
So our larger purpose has been to create asset classes not for the short term. And it has always been that we create asset classes for the generations to come. I mean, it should be relevant to the future generation. That's the objective. And in quest of that, we always try to innovate. We always try to, try to do something new. So when, non-multi-story or small housing were the norms, we kind of anticipated the market. We thought ahead and we knew that this is going to come. The tall structures are going to come, and that's going to change the market. So the demand for premium housing or premium commercial spaces will come. We saw the trends in different markets, and we knew that that trend will come here. So when you anticipate the trend which is going to be coming in the market, then you stay ahead of the game. And that's what we did. When we launched Utkal Signature, it was launched in 2009 or 8, 10, let's say 15 years back. At that time, we made a building which was energy efficient. For that, we imported glass from Emirates Glass, like a DGU glass, very, very high-end glass. So back then, because we knew the corporates who would be coming in would have requirements like that. When people were constructing non-multi-story, 5-story apartments, we thought in 2009 again, or 10, Utkal Heights was launched. At that time, we thought of a tall structure of 22-story. So you have to think ahead and understand the market trends and where the market is going, and have to provide something which you have to be proactive and give something which the market will demand in times to come. So with that thought process, when you work, you'll always innovate. And when you innovate, you'll stay.
So now
you'll become the disruptor. You can call it a disruptor. For us, it is innovation.
So now your cheat code is in the public. So sir, tell me कि पहले क्या होता था जब हम लोग घर लेते थे, तो यूजुअली एक ही डिमांड होता था कि एक ही चॉइस होता था कि हम लोग सोचते थे कि एक घर होगा 1 BHK होगा, 2 BHK होगा, और मे बी 3 BHK, बस उतना ही चाहिए, 1 BHK, 2 BHK. Now it is not just about the home, it is about smart homes. We are speaking. अब लोगों के choices बदल चुके हैं. They are talking about smart homes, smart living and sustainability. कहीं ना कहीं ये भी एक trend बन चुका है in the real estate, if I would say. So how you are adapting to these changes?
See, sustainability, first of all, is now not a future trend or a luxury. It has kind of become a necessity now. And we've been doing it for the longest time. All the sustainable practices that we could do in a project, which could be like, solar power for your common area lighting, or, rainwater harvesting to preserve the rainwater because the groundwater is getting depleted, to energy efficient lighting, to there are various things that we do, and it is a standard. It is not something that now you can excuse. You have to give it back to the environment. You have to make buildings which are luxurious also, and which is easy to the environment as well. So there is no question about sustainability. That is that's something that's a mantra now. That in every project we'll try to make it as sustainable as we can. The commercial buildings that we are making, we're trying to get LEED certification. So sustainability, there is no question. And as far as the smart home, it is, it's the trend of the future. You will see in times to come how your future morning would look like. I'll tell you. The future morning in times to come would be when you get up, there will be sensors which will, capture how your sleep was, how your cardiac functions are, how your blood glucose level is. So, and based on that, you'll get notifications on your phone. So the world is changing. And what we are trying to do is to make smarter homes, and we've launched it one of the project, and now we made it a mandate that every project of Utkal will be a smart home. And what we are essentially providing is that we're providing the backbone, and over IoT, Internet of Things, everything will get connected. So as the technology progresses, so every device that you own, be it white goods, everything will be connected to this central system, which will communicate with you. Now, from controlling the lights, to controlling the temperature of your house, or even advanced safety features where you can lock or unlock your room at the press of a button from a distance, is now a possibility. So a lot of technological integration we are doing so that the living becomes more comfortable, secure for your family. So that's where the trend is.
Super. Sir, tell me, before answering this question, I want to know how social media friendly you are.
Not really, not too much, not many.
How often do you use Instagram? Are you also, addicted to those Instagram reels and YouTube shorts?
Thankfully, I don't. But I'm not as savvy as maybe a lot of other people are, but I try to be relevant.
No, I asked this question because, like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, every time I think to buy a home, now obviously the internet is there, so there are so many experts that we are seeing right now on different platforms, and everyone is having their own set of opinions, which is completely fine. But then I see, जब भी आप कुछ करने को सोच रहे हो, तो I see a reel or see a video where the one expert or other one who is saying कि we should not buy home. आपको घर नहीं लेना चाहिए, you should rent a home, क्योंकि long term में आप उसको savings कर सकते हो. You could invest in somewhere else. And especially talking about the millennials, जो youngsters and the Gen Zs that we are saying, I believe they sort of believe in these things कि नहीं, we should not buy a home, we should go for renting a home.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I get that a lot.
Yes. So I want to know from you, because I think, this episode, and you are the perfect person to answer this, whether we should buy a home or we should rent a home. Let's end this debate here.
Wow. So I have a very strong opinion on this. See, you can rent a house, but you can't rent a home. You have to buy a house and make it a home. Home is a very emotional thing. You need to own it. हमने कहते नहीं रोटी कपड़ा मकान, है ना? So it's an essential. छत आपको चाहिए ऊपर में. It is always better to call it your own. And on top of that, the real estate prices have gone up over last 2 decades or 3 decades. Don't you wish, सोम, कि पापा ने वो जगह खरीद ली होती, या दादाजी ने वो जमीन ले ली होती?
ये चीज में काफी हम लोग डिबेट करते हैं ना कि दादाजी कहते थे ये जगह 10,000 की है, नाउ इट इज 10 लाख रुपीस. तो हम सोचते हैं कि भाई
क्यों नहीं खरीदा. तो ये हमारे ख्याल में आता है ना. सो रियल एस्टेट इज एन अप्रिशिएटिव एसेट. It will always appreciate. Now, if you rent an apartment, you're actually paying someone else's mortgage. So it's always better. Housing loans are cheaper. I mean, based on your means, I'm not saying that you buy more than what you can afford, but whatever your means are, it's always makes sense to buy your home, because real estate is an asset class which will always appreciate. And it's always better to have something which you call your own. And that is home.
Exactly. And कहीं ना कहीं पे एक चीज भी लगता है मुझे कि when we talk about renting and buying a home, जब आपका खुद का घर होता है तो you create memories there over so many years.
Yes.
But when you rent a home, वो कहीं ना कहीं पे आपका break होता जाता है.
Correct. So my advice would be to buy a home. At least your children will thank you one day.
Sure. So tell me, again, in this particular segment, we're talking about a lot of things, and the questions that generally in the market, people don't have an answer for it, or they have so many answers for it that they're confused. And when we talk about the real estate, this is one of those things जहाँ पे हम लोग investment की बातें भी करते हैं. Not everyone is willing to buy a home. Not everyone is willing to, do that kind of stuff. There are people who buy the land or buy the home for investment purposes.
Right.
Now, we all know that real estate is a big money game. But when we talk about the stock market as well, तो कहीं ना कहीं पे अगर मैं आपसे ये पूछूं कि I'm not ready to invest in real estate. I do not have that kind of budget.
Right.
I don't have crores of rupees.
Right.
I want to invest in the stock market that I can afford.
Right.
So what would be your answer? Do you think that stock market should be the priority over real estate, or the real estate is completely different game of investors?
Yeah. So what kind of investor are you? Are you a risk-aversive investor or are you a risk taker? Depends on what your personality is. So stock market has given significant returns over the last 2 decades, I would say. So it's actually a personal choice. I mean, what is your risk appetite? How much you want to invest? Whether you want to invest in one shot or whether you want to pay EMI. So it all boils down to what your appetite is. But with stock market, people don't stay invested. Sometimes they don't get the right financial advice. So it's very difficult to say. It's very volatile as well. However, real estate is a safe asset class. If you have invested in real estate, you would not fail your EMIs, and it is an appreciating asset class. But if you compare, then it is very difficult to say which one is better, because it's up to you what your requirement is, and based on that you have to take a decision. And I'm not a financial consultant, but I can only say that it's always better to not lay all your eggs in one basket. So it's better to have a little bit of equity, a little bit of real estate, and depending on your means and depending on your requirements. But real estate is something which you can use, and I always feel that it is not only an investment; it is something which your family cherishes. It is what you make family moments. So for me, yes,
All the eggs in one basket.
yeah, it's better to not put all your eggs in one basket.
Sure, tell me, when you started business in 2 decades back, I would say, कहीं ना कहीं आपने बहुत सारे ups and downs भी देखे हैं कि किस तरह से बिजनेस बनता है. Have you questioned yourself at a time कि आपको लगा हो कि नहीं, थोड़ा सा difficult हो रहा है, या फिर should have been done something else or something, or you started seeing this from the beginning, the success and...
No, it's been a very challenging journey. It's not that things have been easy, and it's a very complicated business. It's not an easy business, and sometimes we acquire a land until the time we complete the project and hand it over to the residents or to the corporates, because we are into retail, residential, commercial, all asset classes. But it's a very complicated job. It's not easy. We've faced a lot of challenges, and I can't tell you all the challenges here, but we've overcome it, and we've learned from the challenges or from the mistakes that we have done, and the objective is to be a better version of what we were, and now we are very committed to change the landscape of the city. The kind of projects that we are planning right now, you'll be amazed.
I'm waiting for that. Ajay, tell me कि when you go to any party or somewhere else, does it happen with you? होता है कि कोई किसी फील्ड में बहुत सालों से होता है, तो people used to take their advices. Have someone stopped you and asked कि शरद भाई कहाँ पे इन्वेस्टमेंट करना है, कुछ बताओ, या फिर स्टॉक मार्केट पे? Have you got any such weird questions from people who ask you on investment or on your projects or something? Have you encountered any such things?
Ask. See, I'm not a financial guy. Can't give investment advices. All I can say is that what we offer, or not only we, in real estate, it is a safe investment. It is definitely a safe investment, but not many people come to me for advice, honestly. They come to me for discounts, though.
So do you give them discounts?
Again, I don't deal directly to offer discounts and all. There's a system, there's a structure which we follow.
Cool. So one thing I have also realized कि पिछले कुछ सालों में अगर हम लोग बात करें, especially post COVID, I guess. Again, it is not about any particular city or any particular type of the city, be it tier 2, tier 3, even in tier 1 cities. Affordability crisis कहीं ना कहीं पे नजर आता है कि people want to buy a home but they cannot afford it. So why do you think that happened suddenly?
Well, that's a very good question, Som. But it's not happened suddenly. I'll take you back to the year 2020, the year we all stayed home. It changed the humankind. When people stayed at home, they kind of realized the importance of home, and that's what we saw. When people realized the importance of home and the aspirations went up, people who were on rental apartments, they wanted to buy. People who were in smaller apartments, they wanted to upgrade to a larger apartment when they needed more space. So after COVID, we've seen a trend that there has been a surge in demand, and every ready inventory got sold out. And there was a situation where the demand was far more than the supply that was there in the market. So it got absorbed. Everything got absorbed. And then because of the increment in demand, the prices went up. The land prices up. It's not that the builder is making more money here. Absolutely not. Because of that, the land prices went up. Cost of construction anyway has gone up in the last few years. And because of all this, the property prices have gone up. And it's become slightly unaffordable, I can say that. But we do understand that that the market, there's a big demand for flats at a certain price point. So we are very committed, and 2 or 3 of our very large projects are being planned where we could provide affordable houses. And with the same amenities, with the same lifestyle, with the same landscape, with the same tower structure, you will not find any difference than a large luxury project. It will be the same, but it will be catering to a price bracket which I think would be affordable to many.
I was about to come to that when you just mentioned about the price bracket and affordability and fulfilling the dream of people up from who are coming from different backgrounds. So in this situation, I feel like company like Utkal Builders, who has trusted by so many people, lakhs and lakhs of people, and you have been in touch with so many people, and that is why obviously it is growing. तो कहीं ना कहीं पे एक principle नजर आता है कि this company has this sort of principle. I want to know what is that core principle that you have, जो यहाँ पे click कर गया Utkal Builders, and that principle you are carrying from the day you started doing the business till now.
The core principle and values, what I talked about earlier also. Because we are a family business which started with a principle of, delivering on what we promise. And consistently. Consistency is the mother of mastery. If you promise something, you deliver one, doesn't help. If you do it consistently, then you automatically gain that trust. And that has worked for us. Because we have been very rooted to our commitments. We don't over-promise, and we've delivered consistently many iconic projects in the city. And because of that, I think we have earned that goodwill, and I think that has worked for us. And we are now because we see that people have, have so much of trust and faith on us, we are even more committed, and we push our boundaries to make sure that we create landmarks. And whatever we show or whatever we promise in our marketing material, we deliver. In fact, we deliver more than what we promise.
Again, it is obviously, it is also not possible without having strong, I would say, leadership skills. And when I talked about how do you lead such a big brand which is trusted by all? How do you lead? What are the leadership principles?
Nobody is a born leader. We just learn. Right, I've been in this business for 20 years, so I think it is more to do with our experience. So there's no leadership mantra and all, but I think the primary thing is that we need to empower people. We have to listen to them. Whenever I'm in a meeting, I try not to respond. I try to really understand what they're trying to say, and then you kind of you empower them to take decisions on their own. Sometimes they might be right, sometimes they might be wrong. We have a strength of more than 200 people. I think at the top level, we've kind of empowered our team members to take decisions on their own. And when you empower people, they will lead in their own way and they will deliver in their own way. And the organization's core values remains the same. And it flows within the organization. If you speak to everyone, they'll all know what are really core values. Nobody will tell you something, and even the marketing professionals, if you ask them, they will never make a false promise. Realtors, and sometimes they do, but my marketing executives will never make a false promise. They'll only say what we will deliver. So that's inbuilt in, that's the inculcated in their entire organization. Yeah.
Sure, tell me, when you talk about the leadership principles, you said about the marketing thing, that we reach out to people with the true sense and the that core values, exactly what we're doing. It is not about committing something and then, converting, then not fulfilling that. So that is a good thing. If I'll ask you that Utkal Builders, जब हम लोग बात करते हैं, आपने कहा कि पिछले 20-25 years में हमने क्या किया, how we build the trust and that entire process that's going on. How do you see the Utkal Builders in the next 50 years? You talked about smart home as well, but as a company, led by you,
50 years
I see you as the supreme leader in this market, because you know the in and outs and everything that is happening around, and you are loved by all. So I want to know, where are you seeing Utkal
Now,
Builders?
50 years down, I
It's a pretty long
surely
time.
see myself at least celebrating what we have achieved. But how I see it is in 50 years, probably. So we're not only a real estate development company. We feel that in times to come we'll become an institution. That's the goal. We want to be an institution where people would come and love to work. They look forward to work with Utkal. Customers would have the confidence in us, and they would love to buy a property of Utkal. Same way, suppliers will be very happy to work with Utkal. So we want to make it an institution where investors also have that faith and confidence in us. So that's the end goal, and we don't want to be. I think Utkal will not only be known for all the landmark buildings they will make in the process, but they will also be known for the happy and flourishing communities along the way.
Suppose it's a long journey for you since you came back from Australia. So, Sharad, especially when I talk about you, when I see you, I feel like कि बहुत सारे ऐसे entrepreneurs हैं in India who make it big. And you were one of them. I have seen people also failing. I've seen people getting success. You're one of them. How do you see your journey and also, your fellow leaders, your competitors, or maybe entrepreneurs that you admire, जिनसे आपको भी लगता है कि, okay, I'm learning something from them. So I believe it's a long process, obviously, learning.
Yeah.
We learn through the entire life. But how do you see that? And what have you learned from them, your competitors or your partners?
See, I've always been a...
Why I asked you this question, because I was going through this podcast of, the founder of Zomato, where he said, ki Zomato and Swiggy, we are not competitors. We don't want to be competitors. It is good that we exist because Swiggy exists. अगर वो नहीं होते तो हम लोग इतना scale नहीं कर पाते. So it's a good and healthy competition.
But he's saying that, but I remember, I think I read somewhere about the Zomato CEO. He said, when Swiggy raised $1 billion, that was the worst day of their life. They say it, but they don't mean it once.
Yeah. So he mentioned about the healthy competition and how they, learn from their competitors.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing that I want to know. Ki real estate, as I mentioned many times, that it's a big game. It's a money-making game. So what do you learn from your fellow, entrepreneur friends, or maybe the next who is getting ahead?
So I've always had this quest for learning. There's this book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I don't know if you've read that or not, by Stephen Covey. The 7th habit is sharpen the saw. So what it says that you have to constantly keep upgrading yourself. You have to learn, unlearn, relearn. You have to keep yourself. You have to upgrade yourself constantly. If you want to be at the edge of your game. So I've been a consistent learner, and I've traveled around the world, and I've met so many people, so many leaders, and I think there's always something to learn from each one of them. I try to pick their brains. I'm trying to pick your brain also right now when we have a candid conversation. But yes, if you ask me to name a few locally, I think from the real estate industry and also from other industry, I really appreciate the female entrepreneurs like Tani Patnaik, Rashmi Sahu, even Sophia Firdaus. They've been doing exceptional work and leading all the way. I mean, the women empowerment. I mean, I really appreciate the kind of work they're doing and making good change in the society. And at the state level, in fact, I had an opportunity to meet Ritesh Agarwal from OYO. He was here and we were discussing some work. And he was telling me about his journey, and I was so amazed that he founded a technological platform which was there, but he was able to use technology and bridge the gap between the unlisted and unused properties across India and the end consumers, and provide them with standardize rooms at a very economical rate. So the way he did it and at the pace he did it is totally commendable. Totally commendable.
How is he?
I mean, it changed the hospitality landscape of India.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
On that.
And in fact, I also would like to mention about Dr. Velumini. I had a good fortune of meeting him in Bhubaneswar. We had him for one of the events of EO. And that gentleman, I mean, he started from a small one lab, Thyrocare, the owner of Thyrocare. How he took that lab from one lab to one of the largest diagnostic centers in the world. And he took an exit in COVID. He sold his entire stake for a huge whopping 5,500 crores or something like that. But he's been a bold decision maker. That's what came across. And I mean, I totally love him. And his punchlines, if you speak to him now, he always has a punchline. He says, ki scale nahi to game nahi. The business is no business unless you scale it up. And that's what we are also trying to do at Utkal. We're trying to scale up.
Superb. So you mentioned about Ritesh. How is he as a person?
Very humble, very, very humble person. Very down to earth. And we had a dinner together, and I think incredible personality. And imagine that guy, he was always on the move and using a small technological platform which was already there. Airbnb, etc. were there in the US. It's not that something new was there, but doing it at the right time, at the right pace, integrating the gaps between the unlisted properties. Otherwise, you go to Bombay, Delhi, you will find hotels. I remember back in 20 years back when I used to travel to Bombay to attend these retail conferences, etc. In Bombay, you would not find a room less than 5,000 rupees square, for 5,000 rupees a night. There was a huge market to be tapped. So many unlisted properties are there. So many private homes were there, private buildings were there. So he used that as an advantage, created a platform, and rest is history.
Cool. Because he's when I used to watch the season of Shark Tank when he was there. Yeah. So I think he was one of the most sweetest guy. And he also invested in the startups who are from Odisha, especially. So he's from Balasore. Yeah. So that was very sweet of him. Correct. Completely, I agree with you. Just tell me this thing. When I get the opportunity to sit with people who are millionaire, who are super successful, I always have this kind of, if I can say it in non-formal way, thoda sa chul mujhe lagta hai. I want to know what's going on behind their life. Because there are two things. One thing is, you are super successful, you are going to media, you are meeting people, and you have so many client commitments. And there is also a side which you don't want to show to people. You want to chill at home. You want to go somewhere. You want to play with your kids. So I want to know, people know you as, the Sharad Ved.
There's nothing exciting about me. Honestly, let me tell you, after a hard day at work,
that non-excitement part. Who are you? Who is Sharad as a husband, as a father, as a mentor? Who you are? The true Sharad.
As a husband, I'm a very patient husband. As a father, I think I'm a very doting father. And as a mentor, I think could be a good mentor to people. But there's nothing exciting about me, honestly, I'm telling you. After a hard day at work, I love to go take a cold shower and, and as soon as I get on bed, I sleep off.
So how do you enjoy your day when you are not working?
I listen to a lot of podcasts. I try to read. I don't read. I try to read more than what I currently am doing. Yeah.
Super. So, sir, tell me that, I know you're not going to tell me about that, what you actually do in your free time, but do you have any hobbies?
I love to travel.
So what's your favorite travel destination?
Europe. I think I've been to most of the countries in Europe. I think that's a great place to just go and unwind. I love Europe.
Superb. And because we are talking about traveling, so, we also say about the Odisha is India's best kept secret. So do you have any favorite places in Odisha where you go and feel like, this is the place that I want to be? Is there any place in Odisha where you want to spend your time?
No, I love to go to the beach. I'm a beach person. So once in a while I go to Puri. We're doing a project in Puri as well. So with the blessing of Lord Jagannath. And I love to go to Gopalpur also. So, yeah, I'm a beach person.
Superb. अच्छा सर, tell me ना, there is so many things कि obviously बहुत सारा काम आपका रहता है. You come to office, there are so many projects you are launching. You go to meet your investors, your founders, and all so many things that you do. I want to know कि what is the smallest thing that give you joy? कि ये होता है कि बहुत सारी चीज़ें हम लोग करते हैं, बहुत successful हम लोग बन जाते हैं. There are so many things that we do, we are so proud of. But then we come to those little things.
Oh, yeah. I love to spend time with my close ones. People who are close to me, I love to spend time with them. And that gives me a lot of happiness. Oxytocin. Or I get oxytocin when I am with my loved ones. That's the happy hormone.
Okay, superb, Sharad. So we have a round called the rapid fire round, where actually, like I said, when I sit with people who are super successful, I really want to know that what actually goes through their mind and what actually goes beyond their public life. So rapid,
Bring it on.
Solution for to get to know the person.
Yeah.
So that's where we are heading right now. So tell me,
You want me to be honest, or you want me to be
I want you to be unfiltered.
unfiltered?
I want you to be
I'll try my best.
Okay, superb. So tell me, we'll start with the basic one, then we'll obviously go into the tricky ones. So you're a morning person or a night owl?
A mix of both. Depends. I mean, sometimes a morning person, sometimes a late night person.
Okay, one book that changed the way you think.
There are two books actually, I mean, which comes to my mind. There's this book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. It says that, you have to try to be a 1% better version of yourself every single day. And the power of compounding says that if you try to do that in a year, you'll be 37 times better version of yourself. So one small change in your life, if you keep doing every single day, there'll be remarkable difference in your life. I think that's very profound. And another book that I really love and I kind of, suggest people to read is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's a very old book. And they did a study in 1950s of all the successful people of that time. Okay, what's one common habit that they have, or what's one common attribute they have? And they found that, and it's very interesting, that people could be very talented, people could be very smart, but some of them succeed, some of them don't. But the people who succeed, there's one thing in common. You tell me what it is.
Maybe their dedication.
They have a fire in them. They have a fire in their belly. And that fire within them will take them to places. They need not be smart, but if you have that fire within them, they will work consistently towards their goal and they will achieve it.
Super. Sharad, tell me, what is the most Bhubaneswar thing about you?
What's the most Bhubaneswar thing about me? Bhubaneswar thing. Dalma. I love Dalma. I love Jagannath Bhagwan's Prasad. I don't know if it qualifies in
Bhubaneswar thing or not. Achha, tea, coffee or something else?
Oh, coffee. I'm totally a coffee person. I love my coffee. I kind of brew my coffee.
You just triggered everyone who is a chai lover. Achha, one trend in real estate that you secretly can't stand?
Would be taxation. It's too much of taxation. I mean, just telling you for the fact and let people also hear, 50% of the price that customers pay actually goes towards taxation in real estate industry. It's that high.
And that we see as लोगों को लगता है कि दोनों we are paying to the builders.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taxation, yeah.
Achha, the best advice you have ever received?
The best advice that I've ever received? Oh yeah, this is very, something that also remained with me. So I used to be, a little short-tempered person earlier. I used to react with my employees or with my other partners also. I used to react very often. A gentleman who was doing a case study on emotional intelligence, he taught me that when you are in a situation where, you get a little angry or you will get hyper, don't react. Take a moment, reflect, ponder over it, and then choose to respond. If you take that moment, then you will respond accordingly. You'll calm your nervous system, and then you will respond based on the circumstances. So a lot of people react instantly. The advice that I totally abide by is that instead of reacting, pause for a moment and then choose to respond.
One tech gadget that you can't live without.
One
Tech gadget that you can't live
tech
without.
gadget.
Yeah.
Oh, AirPods. I think I can't see it's still there in my pocket. I can't do without them.
So, if you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Marilyn Monroe, because of the beauty she was. I would really like to see her in person. I've always seen her in pictures.
Superb. So, what is the last thing you watched on Netflix or any streaming platform?
The last I saw on Netflix was 500 Days of Summer. Very interesting love story. Beautiful story.
One thing that people don't know about you. This has to be unfiltered.
One thing that people don't know about me.
Yes.
I can beat you in eating chilies. I love to eat chilies. Nobody can beat.
Cool. Sharad, okay, thank you. First of all, you answered so many things about the real estate that people really wanted to know. कि क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, how we should invest, where we should invest, कहाँ पे कैसे क्या करना है. And I think with that, there are so many key takeaways in this episode that people will take कि नहीं. Finally, कुछ चीज़ों पे तो debate खत्म हो जाएगा that we discussed. वो सारी चीज़ें होंगी. Having said that, I would like to end this entire session because I just want to tell that to the viewers. When I first met Sharad, it is a complete surprise for me because the kind of physical fitness that you have in a such stressful business, usually क्या होता है, हमने देखा है कि बहुत जो successful लोग होते हैं, stress लेते हैं, काम करते हैं, they build an empire. They used to be in a different shape and size, but when I see you, it feels like कि आप बहुत बढ़िया से आप chill कर रहे हो. And I just want to know that how you're so fit, physically and professionally. What's your secret?
So the goal is not to only stay fit from outside. The goal is also to stay fit and healthy from inside. I mean, that's the primary goal. Yeah, of course, I do work out. I do strength training, and wholesome food is extremely important. So I have a very disciplined food habits. So that, of course, is very, very important if you want to stay fit. But also, there are, in today's world, there are so many new technological advancements, scientific advancements that you can also do, wellness regimes that you can do to, improve the quality of your life and the longevity of your lives as well. I would like to say that, there are certain things which I do is, I do full body cryotherapy. It's like a chamber where the temperature is minus 110 degrees and you stay there for 4 minutes and it just improves your blood function. So many things. And I also take LED light therapy. I take NAD drips, which as you age one should take, but not many people are aware of that. I do that, and I take a lot of supplements, gut microbiome. So it is a holistic approach where the objective is not to stay fit from outside, but also to stay fit from inside. And, a fit body and a fit mind, we will always be very efficient at your work.
Superb, no doubt. That's why you're looking super fit.
Thank you.
As I said, this is the episode that we were, we talked about real estate, we talked about your life, we talked about the big empire Utkal Builders that everyone is looking forward to, that what they will do next. We talked about so many things. So I would like to, like it from you, to give just 5 or 3 key takeaways to the audience about the real estate. If you can just mention those 3 points, and how did you enjoy the interview?
Oh, I loved the interview. I think we had a great time together, chatting and talking about general things. But so 3 advice or 3 what?
Yeah, 3 advices you want the viewers to know about the real estate, or in the in any field in their life, maybe probably.
3 advices. I would say that real estate is a great asset that you can then gets passed on to your next generation. So do invest with whatever capacity you have, whatever means you have. Whenever is the right time, but do invest in real estate. It's one form, very tangible, and it will always give you returns, and it is something that your family will enjoy and cherish. So do invest in real estate, and this is the right time. I'll always say that, because 2 years down the line, you'll say the prices have gone up more.
फिर हम लोग वही कहेंगे कि दादाजी के
Exactly.
समय में ये 5 लाख का था 5 करोड़ का है. So yeah, true.
So now is a good time. Now is a good time to invest in real estate.
Superb. And I can vouch for that. Someone who has just started investing in the real estate, I can vouch for that. It is never a depreciating asset. It is going to be, very profitable.
True.
So Sharad, I want to know your experience on OD podcast, because usually what happens, like I mentioned at the beginning, we used to interview the political leaders, we used to interview film stars, and this is the first time, I was so eager to interview you because मुझे लगा कि बहुत सारे values तो यहाँ पे मिलने वाले हैं.
Thank
Because
you. I hope you found value. And I hope your audience finds the value.
Definitely, of
in
course.
our podcast.
Yes. Who would have been a better person than you, जो real estate के बारे में बात करे and give so much detail about the real estate. I want to know you from Sharad that it is also your first podcast. So how was your experience on OD podcast? And
I totally loved it. I totally loved it.
Okay, so he's watching for it. You are listening, guys.
Absolutely. Time just flew.
Okay, Sharad, one last thing I want to know. You telling the audience to subscribe to OD podcast, and what do you think about the host?
The host is a good-looking young man and talks so well. So I'm sure he has a very large audience who's following him. Thank you, Som, for being here. And it was really an experience. It was really great knowing you.
Thank you so much, sir. It is the same here. And I'm so happy that we get in touch. And I'm sure that, in the coming days, we'll again connect and we'll again do a podcast, Unfiltered one, where we'll be talking about more number of things on real estate so that people will get to, get more values from it. Thank you so much, sir, for connecting with us. Thank you.
It was really a pleasure.
Thanks.
Thanks.